Hello everyone, I'm Shailja Tripathi. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Easy Way to Learn. Today's topic is nutrition. So we straight away go to the topic, remain focused and follow the lecture. So nutrition. Definition as it states, nutrition is taking in of food and utilization of food. So it is intake of food and utilization. Utilization of food. So nutrition, as the definition suggests, it is intake and utilization of food. So why do we need to take food? This I discussed in the previous videos. So food is source of energy. Food is source of energy to maintain our body. And this source of energy is common, or we say it is common in every organism. But the food we take or the mode by which we take in is different. So it must be clear that food is fuel to the body, and this food is converted into energy, or this food is broken down into smaller molecules which becomes the source of energy. Those smaller molecules are universal source, means every living organism will have that source of energy or that molecules that cells are utilizing. Okay, so there are two modes that you have already studied in lower classes. We are going to repeat it again, but in a slightly different nuance. That means, see, nutrition that is taken up, you have already studied, it can be autotrophic mode of nutrition or heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Autotrophic and heterotrophic. Okay, autotrophic, as the name suggests, it is prepared by the plant. Auto means cell. So we already know green plants and some bacteria that can prepare their own food are called autotrophs. This is the definition you studied in lower classes. We need to upgrade this definition according to our class 10th level. Similarly, heterotrophs you studied are those organisms that are dependent on plants or other organisms that are dependent on plants or other organisms. For their food. This includes herbivores, carnivores, omnivores. This is very basic definition, but we need to upgrade this in the sense that in class 10, autotroph is defined, or it is explained in your book in the manner, see, Autotrophs or autotrophic nutrition is that mode of nutrition where the organism take up simple inorganic molecules, for example carbon dioxide, water, to prepare their food. So autotrophic mode of nutrition in which organism take up simple inorganic molecules. Simple inorganic molecules for example carbon dioxide, water, etc. Okay, and convert them into complex form. And convert them into complex form. Convert them into complex form. This word is not visible. And convert them into, I'll write it here. And convert to complex form. For example, various forms of carbohydrate like starch, glucose. So this simple molecule like carbon dioxide and water, they are converted into glucose that is C6H12O6, and this glucose is further converted into starch for storage. That we'll discuss in a short while. So the definition according to your class should be autotrophs. A autotrophic mode of nutrition is one in which organism take up simple molecules like carbon dioxide and water and convert them into complex form, example sugar and starch. And for heterotrophs, the definition will be heterotrophic mode of nutrition is one in which organism take up complex molecules. Heterotrophic mode of nutrition in which organism takes up a complex molecules and break them into simpler molecules to be utilized by each and every cell. Okay, see, whatever you are eating, we also come under this heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So whatever kind of food you are taking, it should be broken down into a common source, like you are eating carbohydrate in the form of rice, bread, chapati. So this all should break down into one simple molecule, that is glucose, which will be finally absorbed by the cell. Similarly, protein can be taken in various forms like milk protein, your dairy products, then animal protein. Okay, these proteins should be broken down into a common molecule, that is amino acids, which will be utilized by the cells. So whatever form of complex food you are taking is broken down in the body by the process of digestion into smaller molecules or simpler molecules that can go inside the cell for the utilization to produce energy. So this utilization to produce energy will study under respiration. So this is the basic difference or the way of writing definition. And one should always remember these processes that are taking place, they are not simple processes, just a one-step process. It is a multiple step process, and these multiple step processes require some biocatalysts, which are called enzymes. We'll talk about the biocatalyst. See, the catalyst word you have already heard or you know from chemistry. So hopefully the definition of catalyst is clear, or I'll just repeat it for you all, those who don't know. Catalysts are substances which accelerate or speed up the rate of reaction. So we must understand that these processes in our body are not a single step process. They are multiple step process, and to speed up the process, there are substances which are present. We call them biocatalyst. Biocatalyst. See, bio means it is present inside a living organism. So here bio means present in the living organism. And catalyst are substances which speed up the rate of reaction. They speed up. Rate of reaction. Speed up the rate of reaction. Rate of reaction means time taken to complete the reaction will be less. Okay. And one more feature of these catalysts is, one is this, second is they are not utilized in the reaction. They are not utilized in the reaction. That means if 1 gram is taken for the reaction, at the end of the reaction, it will remain 1 gram. So what it has done? It has just played its role to speed up the reaction. Okay. How the catalyst speed up the reaction? That is another part of the topic that we'll not delve into. We'll just see what are biocatalysts. And biocatalysts have been given a special name called enzymes. E-N-Z-Y-M-E-S. So biocatalysts that are present in our body, in any living organism, they are called enzymes. So they have the same role, that is they speed up the reaction, they are not utilized in the reaction. So, and enzymes are mostly, third point is biocatalysts, that is these enzymes are mostly proteinaceous in nature. Exceptions are always there. So enzymes are protein in nature, you can write down simple way, protein. Yeah, enzymes are made up of proteins. This is very useful information. This information will be used in the chapter of genetics or hereditary and evolution chapter that is in your book. So enzymes are made up of protein, they speed up the reaction and they are not utilized in the reaction. These are the characteristics of biocatalyst or enzyme. So 1 mark per question you always get from this part of the information. So now we'll go straight away to autotrophic mode of nutrition that is present in the plants. The process you already know is called photosynthesis. Autotrophic nutrition. It is carried out by process photosynthesis. You have been learning the definition since lower classes. So word is very simple. Photo means light, synthesis means preparation. So preparing food in presence of light and chlorophyll with the help of simple molecules like carbon dioxide from atmosphere, water from the soil, they prepare simple carbohydrates which is converted into complex carbohydrates. So photo means light and synthesis means to prepare. To prepare. So preparing food in presence of sunlight with the help of chlorophyll is photosynthesis. Okay. So this is not something that I am going to write here. One thing you must remember, what is the importance of photosynthesis? Importance. Why this biochemical process is so important? So this is photosynthesis is a biochemical process in the going on in the green plants. So first and foremost importance it is preparing food. And one more is very important point. I hope you all know. So first point I'll write down. It is source of food. That is, this process is source of food for all the organisms, directly or indirectly, Another most important point is that this is the only biochemical process that produces oxygen. So this biochemical process is producing or you can write down this is the only biochemical process that produces oxygen, which is essential for sustaining life on planet Earth. Okay. See, whatever food that is prepared by the plant is not immediately used up. Some is converted into some other form to be used later or whenever it is needed. You can pause and write down. Another very important point that I want to cover, and that is often asked in your MCQ or 1-marker question, is stored form of energy. That is, what is stored form of energy? Stored form of energy. The stored form of energy or the reserve form of energy is in plants. First we'll see in plants. The stored form is starch. Plant is preparing glucose by the process of photosynthesis, but not all the glucose is used up immediately. Some is stored away. Why it is stored away? It is stored away, not that we get the food. No, it's plant is stored it for itself. Like during spring season, there's no new sprouting, budding, flowering is happening. So a lot of energy is required by the plant. So it stores food for those period when there is a spurt of growth in the plant. Okay, so plant stores this food in the form of starch, and in animal body, or when we say animal, it includes human beings too. So in animal body or in our body, the food is stored in the form of glycogen. So please remember these terms. So glycogen is stored in liver, and starch is stored in plant in various parts of the plant, like in stem, underground stem like potato, then underground roots like radish, then it is stored in leaves. So this starch is stored in various parts of the body, plant body. Stored in various plant part. And in animals or human beings, it is stored in liver. Now next question comes, why plant need to store in the form of, store food in the form of starch? Why it is not storing in the form of glucose? See, this may be asked, this question may be asked in assertion reason type question, but the reason is not given in your NCERT book. But I think you should know little bit extra so that you have a better understanding for assertion reason type questions. So I'll explain why plant is storing food in the form of starch and not glucose. See, or the question may be asked, why starch is preferred over glucose for storing. See, I'll write down the question. Why starch is preferred as a stored form of energy. Or a stored form of food and not glucose. See, we must see the difference between glucose and starch. Glucose, everybody knows, is sweet in taste and soluble in water. Everybody has a box of this glucose in the form of glycodin, or I don't know the company name. So see, this is sweet in taste and is soluble in water. Soluble in water. Another thing is that it is a simple carbohydrate. Or I can say it has a small molecule. It is made up of very small molecule, or its molecule is small. Smaller than starch. Starch, on the other hand, it is not sweet in taste. So answer, sweetness is nothing to do with the question. It is just a simple information that I am giving you. And starch is insoluble in water. Insoluble in water. And many molecules of glucose combine to form one molecule of starch. That is, starch molecule is a big molecule. So we call it complex carbohydrate. Complex carbohydrate. That is, its molecule is very big and one way of saying it is a polymer of glucose. But leave that aside. Just for class 10, this much is sufficient. It is a complex hydrate made up of big molecules or chain of glucose molecules. You can say it is made up of chain of glucose molecules. See, anything that is soluble in water will occupy more volume as compared to something that is insoluble in water. One reason is that if you are storing something, you need to store a lot of things in. Better will be if you store it in less space. So if glucose is stored, it will require large space to store as it is soluble in water. Another point is that since the molecule is very small, it can move in and out of the cell very easily. Whereas complex carbohydrate, its molecule is big, it cannot move in and out of the cell. So it is stored there. So these are the two reasons why glucose is converted to starch. Firstly, since starch is insoluble in water, it requires less space or less volume to store, and its movement across the cell membrane is restricted. So it is a better option than glucose. Okay, so I'll write this in a statement form. Since starch is insoluble in water, it will require lesser volume or you can write lesser space to store or to be stored, and and its movement across cell membrane is restricted due to its large size. So this is your answer to the question. Next, we'll take up the processes or the steps that are involved in photosynthesis. So you write down the heading, events involved in photosynthesis. Actually, this is the main part of the autotrophic nutrition, the various events that are taking place during photosynthesis. Events that are taking place in the process of photosynthesis. Okay, let me write down the equation first. What is the equation of photosynthesis? See, carbon dioxide, and by now you must know how to write the equation for photosynthesis, or if you haven't yet prepared it, so learn it by heart. See how you will remember. See, water and carbon dioxide is required, then sunlight and chlorophyll. See, whatever we write above and below the arrow, it means these are the conditions that are necessary for the process to take place. And the process is photosynthesis. The equation for photosynthesis, it requires carbon dioxide, water, sunlight and chlorophyll. And what we get? C6H12O6 molecule, which is called glucose. Then we also get oxygen, and some water molecules are also produced. Okay, so if we balance this equation, okay, what we get? 6 carbon dioxide, 12 water molecules, then 6 oxygen and 6 water molecule on the right hand side. This is a balanced equation. Balancing you have already studied in your chemical equation chapter. Okay. Here one must know that these 12 molecules that are written on the left hand side, these are the water molecules that are utilized in the process of photosynthesis. And these 6 water molecules on the right hand side, they are reformed during the process. So we must remember these water molecules are utilized in the process, and during the reaction or biochemical processes, these 6 water molecules are reformed. So this is the importance of writing water molecule on both sides, that this much is used and that much 6 water molecules are also produced in the reaction. Okay, so this equation should be very clear. and you must know how to write it down. The events which take place during photosynthesis are first step, or the first event that happens is absorption of sunlight by chlorophyll. So first step, or the first reaction that starts is absorption of sunlight by chlorophyll. That is, now the energy of sun is trapped by the plant. This trapped energy will be utilized for further reaction or for initiating the next step. So next step is this light energy is converted into chemical energy. Light energy into chemical energy. Okay, that is, some chemical reaction will take place, obviously with the help of this. Okay, so what happens? Water molecules are broken down into smaller molecules, that is hydrogen and oxygen gas. And this splitting of water molecules into smaller molecules of gases is called photolysis of water. So this process is called photolysis. Photolysis or lysis. See, photo means light, and lysis means to break down. So water is breaking down in presence of light energy and getting converted into hydrogen and oxygen. Here oxygen is removed from the plant through stomata, and this hydrogen is trapped inside the plant. By this is gaseous in nature, it will just move away from the stomatal pores. So what happens? This hydrogen is captured and converted into it is captured by some chemical or converted into some intermediate to be utilized in next step. So next step is the conversion of carbon dioxide to carbohydrate. See, this conversion is basically a reduction process. Reduction process. And this reduction process is facilitated by this hydrogen. We are not supposed to go into the details how the process takes place, but according to your book, these are the three events that are mentioned. First is absorption of sunlight by the chlorophyll, then conversion of that light energy into chemical energy. This process involves breaking of water into hydrogen and oxygen. This process is called photolysis of water because it is taking place in presence of sunlight. Then this conversion of carbon dioxide to carbohydrate. This is a reduction process. Okay, the first two processes or phases of reaction are light dependent. So these two are light dependent phases. light dependent phase. And the third one, that is this conversion, is not dependent on light. So it is called dark phase, but the better term is independent, or we write light independent phase. See, these steps need not be in the same sequence. For example, in desert plants, there is slight difference. The processes will take place in this in the similar manner, but in slightly there will be slight difference. We'll talk about that difference in a while. See, desert plants, what happens? The stomatal pores remain closed during daytime to prevent transpiration or the loss of water by the plant. So what happens if the pores are closed? No gaseous exchange will take place. That is, carbon dioxide will not be absorbed by the plant during daytime. So to overcome this hindrance, what happens? Plant keeps its stomatal pores open during night time and absorbs the carbon dioxide, convert it into an intermediate and store it. So this is the events that take place in desert plants. Desert plant. First is stomatal pores open at night and CO2 is absorbed and converted into an intermediate which is basically an acid and stored. So this intermediate is prepared and stored. Then during daytime, what will happen? First two steps of the light dependent reaction, light dependent phase will take place, that is absorption of sunlight by chlorophyll and splitting of water molecules in presence of sunlight. Those two processes will start, and again hydrogen will be produced during photolysis. That hydrogen will be utilized for converting this intermediate into carbohydrate. So during daytime, again light energy you can write down. During daytime, sunlight is absorbed by chlorophyll Second, this light energy will be converted into chemical energy, and this chemical energy means the chemical reaction will take place, hydrogen and oxygen will be produced, and this hydrogen will be used to convert this intermediate into carbohydrate. So these light dependent phase means these two steps will require light. Then this hydrogen will convert hydrogen which is present in the form of ions will help to convert the intermediate I'll write it down here, will help to convert the intermediate into carbohydrate. So this is the events that are taking place in desert plants. Okay, so we are just about to finish the this autotrophic mode of nutrition. So one important point that is mentioned in your book is where is chlorophyll stored in the plant? So by now you must be having some idea where is chlorophyll stored in the plant. You can write down the answer in the comment box and let me know if you know it. See, chlorophyll is present in cell organelle called chloroplast. This is also your 1 marker type question, MCQ. See. Chlorophyll is present in plant cell and it is present in an organelle called chloroplast. So chloroplast stores chlorophyll. This is a pigment. This is a pigment. Pigment means anything that gives color. So this pigment is green in color, or in layman language we can call any colored liquid a dye. So it's a dye, but we don't use the term dye in case of plants. We say pigment. So it is a green color that is present in the chloroplast of the plant cell, or we say chloroplast, or which is a cell organelle. Cell organelle. What is the meaning of organelle? Organelle are those small sub units that are present inside the cell. Organelles are, we can say, subcellular units. Subcellular units of cells that perform specific function. Inside the cell. Other cell organelles are like ribosomes, mitochondria, vacuoles. So chloroplast is the cell organelle that is present in the plant cell. So this question can also be asked. Okay. One more thing that needs to be discussed. You can look into the diagram that is given in the book of stomatal pores. I'll draw the diagram for you. The closing and opening of stomata, or the structure of stomata. closing and opening of stomata. In stomata, these are tiny pores that are present on the surface of the leaf. So how does this pore look like in the under the microscope? So let's see when it is open. See, this is the inside wall, which is quite thick. And this is the guard cells. It contains organelle called chloroplasts that are present here. It will have all the organelles of a plant cell. There will be a nucleus in this cell. So this is stomatal pore or the opening, and it is surrounded by guard cells, which regulates its opening and closing. So these structures, they are green in color. I don't have green color, so just bear with me. Chloroplast that stores chlorophyll. That is process of photosynthesis will also take place in these guard cells. These guard cells are then surrounded by some epidermal cells. So this is open stomatal pore. During daytime, photosynthesis takes place. Glucose is prepared in the cell, and due to endosmosis, water from the surrounding cells enter the guard cells. This happens during daytime, and during daytime, water enters, this guard cell swells up and opens. So this is this swells up, or we can say turgid and bulged out. And bulged outward. So during daytime, guard cells become turgid and bulge outward. So I'll write down during daytime, guard cells become turgid and bulge outward. See what happens during night time. These stomatal pores close. These pores close. And again, this closing is regulated by the guard cells. So this happens during daytime opening and closing at night time. Closes. So again the chloroplast thickening. So inner walls of the guard cells are thicker than the outside or the outer wall. See, inner wall is much thicker. So you have chloroplast here. These are nucleus This is nucleus of the cell. These are outer cells or the epidermal cells. So during night time, when no photosynthesis is taking place, water will exit from these guard cells into the surrounding cells. So what movement of water molecule outside the guard cell. So these guard cells will become flaccid and they will shrink, thus closing the stomatal pore. So you can write down during night time, or just during night, no photosynthesis takes place and water from guard cells move out to the surrounding cells. By the process called exosmosis. Okay, exosmosis. Here water is moving inside the guard cell by the process of endosmosis. Here the process is endosmosis. Okay, so what happened? Water moves out and guard cells become flaccid. Guard cells become flaccid. Flaccid is the term opposite of turgid. Spelling is F-L-A-C-C-I-D. I'll write it here also. Flaccid. F-L-A-C-C-I-D. Turgid means to swell up. Flaccid means to lose that turgidity, that is to shrink. So these guard cells will shrink and finally the stomatal pore will close. I hope you understood the topic well. Please like, share and subscribe and enable the notification bell. Thank you so much.